All systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo. I don't know if I can say back four. I think it might be the last Monday Night Football game of the season with all the way the playoff shakeout and the division round, everything coming up. But we're back to talk through it. We've got the Minnesota at Rams game here. I know it's going to be played in Arizona, but got Hoopster here. Title with me, as always, going to break down all things captain, ownership, roster construction, position by position, all that and more. And we've got some fun giveaways, big announcements, things like that. Hoopster, I'll bring you in first, man. Congrats. Huge day for you yesterday. We had just a huge day at the nation, over 340,000 plus across all the community and members and everybody, and 9 King of the Desert tickets moving on within the community to round 2, which is out of 100. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, it was a massive weekend all around. I mean, you obviously had the PGA win as well. Congratulations on that. We had a lot of people do well in MMA, which just obviously got started this weekend after holiday break. And then NFL yesterday was a full throttle win where obviously I had the big win, but a lot of members. And like you said, it ended up equating to over $340,000 in wins within the community, which was awesome and good to see. And that's how it's supposed to be. When you have a site like we have, it's not supposed to just be the people running the site that have success. It needs to be the members in the community as well. And it's just a community that I'm really proud of. I mean, everyone has each other's back, rooting each other on during these sweats, and no negativity at all. So that's definitely the number one thing in my eyes, the community that we built and the success that the community and the members continue to have. On personal side, it was obviously a good day for me, winning $100,000. Had a chance to win $200,000, but it didn't go my way. But it's one of those situations, we kind of talked about it before the show, and I don't know if anyone was kind of following along, but I was winning the main $15 on FanDuel for $150,000. The guy behind me had Eckler. I needed the game to end at the end, though. Like, I needed a field goal. I needed it over. I only had De'Ami Brown and Bucky Irving left. So Eckler picked up that catch for like 12 or 15 yards and then had the run for a few more, and that put me into second place. And then they doinked in the field goal. But if the game does go to overtime, I'm probably toast because I only have 2 guys in there. So take the win, take the 6-figure win, move on, right back to work today, and big prize pools obviously for this last playoff game of the week. So excited to break it down with you boys and keep the momentum going, man. That's what it's all about. Can't be satisfied with where we're at. We got to keep working, keep grinding, keep getting better, and that's the plan today.
Nobody cares, like they say. We appreciate it, all the support. A lot of people did show that they cared last night, and I appreciate it as well. Thank you, Hoop. But yeah, right back to it today. Big prize pools tonight. Title, bring you in, man. It's an exciting game, and the games yesterday were pretty good. I like them. I know the first couple were not satisfactory to some because they played defense. What do you know? It's playoff football. Teams clamp down and try and get to the next round. But it was great. I thought yesterday was awesome. How you doing, my friend? What's going on?
The Packers game, I don't know how great that one was, but hey, the Eagles were what I thought they were. Just the Packers were not what I thought they were. They were complete buns. But yeah, man, it was an interesting day of football. First half, lackluster for Josh, then he absolutely turned it on.
Yeah.
Second game, I thought was pretty garbage, defensive battle back and forth. The last game, I went to bed at half, but it did seem like it did deliver. Shout out to you though, 40K in golf and the King of the Desert through. Kenny, I saw, got King of the Desert through, plenty of other members, and Hoop stamps it off. So that's the big thing. Like Hoop said, awesome to see the members win. But what I love to see, it's not like, oh, Hoop's core, yeah, if he busts, the whole community busts. If he does it, the whole community holds hands. No, we preach process. We not only preach it, we have education videos for all this stuff, creating your own process, etc. So it's a lot of people. It's cool to see. Even when we don't win, there's plenty of people because of their own process that does. But hey, million up top today. I think we have a really good football game right in the backyard right here. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's a great slate. I like this one. A lot of different options we can go with. And we're going to have some more stuff coming up a little bit, but we'll start it off before we get into some of the stuff we've got planned and just, some giveaways, some big things like that for the members, all of that. Just let's talk through this quick first for the game, just everyone arriving now. What's your first grand scheme overview on this slate, Hoop? How are you seeing it? Because million up top, but there's a lot of unique captains you can do tonight. There's a lot of different ways you can build and leave money on the table, just all different angles of attack. What's your first thoughts on this slate, final game of the week for the wild card round?
Yeah, so initial thought on this game is, obviously looking to potentially see some scoring here. The total in this game is sitting 47.5, 48, two offenses that can definitely put up the points. The Rams obviously had some injuries throughout the season, but down the stretch kind of came into their own with Puka, Stafford, and then Kyron Williams, and then Cooper Kupp kind of taking a back seat. So that's an interesting talking point, on the slate, where last year it was all Cooper Kupp. This year, Puka is the man. Top 3, top 5 for sure, wide receiver in the NFL. The dude is phenomenal. And then on the Viking side, you kind of, you know what you're getting. Jefferson, Addison, Aaron Jones, and then you have a couple other potential plays like Hawkinson and Naylor, which we'll talk about. Definitely more more options there for the showdown slate. But I expect some scoring here, and you have two, in my eyes, similar type quarterbacks. Not much rushing upside, but two guys that can definitely pass for 300 yards and hit that 3 touchdown benchmark. So it should be an exciting game. And the one thing that is interesting, I think, is the Vikings coming off that absolute ass kicking from my Lions. How do they bounce back? Their offense looked the worst that it had looked all season long. Are they able to adjust and bounce back? Did the Rams see something that the Lions did? And are they going to try to implement that tonight? Obviously, the Lions had a ton of success with the blitzes against Darnold, and Darnold looked absolutely terrible. Are they going to try to blitz Darnold tonight? And are the Vikings ready to adjust to that? So I don't know. It's a very interesting, dynamic game. Fun for showdown for sure, because we have so many different pieces. You have multiple wide receivers on both sides. You have solid running backs. You have solid tight ends. You have two quarterbacks again that can sling it. So excited for this one for sure.
Yeah, I love what you said there, but just the captain options too. So, Title, I'll kick it over to you, get your grand scheme overview. But I think there's a lot of different ways to play this slate tonight, and we got a good one, and that's why we got the good prize. But I think DraftKings knows that as well. Interesting note before I kick it to you, waiting and see. But Hoop brought it up pre-show to me. I'll bring it up now. We'll be back Saturday for the main slate show, but they've currently got the main slate as a 3-gamer, including the Ravens-Bills night game, because we don't know yet who the second game, or the first game, I guess, on Sunday is going to be, the third game of the 4 total games. So it looks like they're going to make it a 4-gamer once they've have that. They left everything on reserve, no pricing, no salaries, no nothing. So it sounds like we're going to get a really nice 4-gamer, and then we'll get a follow-up 2-gamer on Sunday, because there's already Millie Makers and everything for Saturday. And we might have a giveaway in relation to that 555 Millie Maker coming up shortly. But Title, I'll bring you in, get your GSO. We trademarked that yesterday. What's going on?
Value's awful on this slate. It's playoff football. Who's going to be playing. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, the backup running back, who pretty much was irrelevant all year, broke his forearm or whatever happens. Kyron legit could play 100% of snaps today. Aaron Jones, that's one thing. He doesn't play 100% of snaps, but just the backups in general, they are going to run as condensed both teams as possible, which the Pukas, the Jeffersons of the world you want. But it's we play a salary-based game. Then you got to go down below to people. But I feel good about it. When we get into captain, I'm condensed. Again, I'm not playing 150. I think I'm going to play 50 teams. I'm going to condense it, though, pretty tightly. I'm not going to play these bums that, the Brandon Powells, the CJ Hams, Johnny Muntz. I don't even know if these guys are going to see the field. No, thank you. Are they going to be played? Very, very little. But by 150 maxers, the Jordan Whittingtons of the world, all these guys will have very little ownership. I hope all those guys get to a combined 4 or 5%. I hope that's paying the rake. But at the end of the day, if you told me it was just all studs and then one $200 guy that didn't get in was on the winner, we have seen that before. This is a slate where it could happen, again, because value is so tough. If all the studs do get there, it's possible. I'm not going to play that way, but I feel I know my path. I feel confident in it. We'll see if it works or not. But again, I play 50 teams. I'm playing in the 150. So I got to narrow it down a little bit. We'll see if I narrowed it down too much. But I feel good about today.
Yeah, I think even if you get a small enough chop tonight, it'll still be very good when it starts at $1 million up top. So definitely looking forward to that. I think there's going to be ways to attack it from there. I will say, Hoop, before we get to the giveaways and promotions, almost 200 people watching, only 30 likes. We have over $1,000 in cash that we would like to give away, but we would have to see some likes to make that happen. So let's make these likes happen. Let's make sure you're subscribed to the channel. By the way, almost at 9,500 subscribers now. Free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's very easy. If it doesn't say subscribed with a bell beside it, click that. Make sure you are subscribed. We're giving away $1,000 all access with Shiptimizer package once we get to 10,000. So all kinds of giveaways always here. SHIPIT Nation, home of the giveaway, baby. Let's go. Hoopster, going back to what Title just said, maybe you can start us at captain then. I agree, like less value on the slate, all of that, but it does look early on like, and I'll bring up the Shiptimizer dry run, but it looks early on as though Jefferson and Puka are going to be the starting point for a lot of people. Is that what you're seeing as well?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely do. But I also think there's something to what Title kind of mentioned there where there's a lack of value. So like it has to be capped a little bit just for that reason. Like we just don't have a ton of really solid value plays on the slate that stand out as, good, cheap options. So yes, they'll be the highest owned. But I do think it's capped a little bit because of the lack of value. And, I just couldn't imagine playing this slate and saying I'm Xing out Jefferson or Puka in captain. I just can't do that. Like these are definitely two of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL, potentially 2 of the top 3. It could be, Jefferson, Puka, Chase. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown's in the conversation. Like these are 2 of the best for sure, 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL. This position has an advantage in DraftKings scoring, these volume wide receivers. So I think it's a great starting point. Not worried about the ownership at all. Like I'll be looking to do other things in this captain's or in the flex spot in order to play Puka and Jefferson. I have to be on both those guys. If choosing one, I think I probably prefer Puka, but man, like I think Puka probably comes in a little higher owned just because of the Jefferson bust last week. Like Jefferson coming off a dud against the Lions, Puka has been super steady. So I prefer Puka, but he is probably a little higher owned. Kyron Williams, I think, is a strong option. I mean, he might not ever come off the field, although, Sean McVay is somewhat of a donkey. And that's one thing we didn't really touch on a lot of the recap from the weekend, but some of these coaches are just fucking idiots, man. I mean, just the dumbest stuff. I mean, just average stuff, like just common sense. And I had tweeted about it, like, give me like a local high school coach over some of these NFL guys, like Todd Bowles, not calling that timeout and just letting 12 seconds go at the end of the half. Matt LaFleur, like, what?
I told you that dude was overrated as all could be. LaFleur is not.
He's terrible.
Yeah,
the backup. I mean, you're down 2 scores with like minutes to go in the game, and you're running it twice with your backup running back. Like
I was getting shit for putting him 4 down there, but yeah, he is. Maybe McDaniel's better than he is. Garbage.
He's bad, man. He's very bad, and like, oh gosh, it's tough. Like Mike Tomlin, like that's the thing. Like, why does Tomlin just get the free pass? Like he's never on the hot seat. I get he's had success. I get he's good in the regular season. He
punted it on 4th and inches.
Dude,
that was the
and
most
it wasn't even a question.
Thing
you see how quickly the punt team came out? They marched out there so fast. And
they could keep up with the Ravens or stop them. It's insane.
Also, the one thing I want to add, Hoop, did you see the Washington one last night? The commentators are literally screaming that Terry McLaurin, who's been owning them all game, has a rookie corner on him, and it's single coverage in the end zone. Yeah. And they went for it on 4th twice, and the second time, it took like 8 plays to get to it. And what do you think happened on play number 8? Yeah. Terry McLaurin touchdown. It was like literally just go to him. And I teased it in the Discord. Me and Nades always make fun of it, but it's like magic. Throw it to your main guy. Even the commentators are screaming it.
One-on-one, too. You can see it was obvious one-on-one. There was like,
let me try everything that actually might work. It's just so frustrating to watch.
Sean Payton was he? He was trying to establish the run too. Down 2 scores in the 3rd quarter, just kept giving it to the running backs. Like what?
I think it was down 3 actually. I think it was when they went down
3. Yeah, maybe just gave up at that point. But it's like all these guys, this is such a sharp coach. Like these guys are fucking.
I got another thing
man.
too. I saw some people backing this up. AJ Brown pulling out that book. That is the most some people are like, good for him not making doing it that way. That is completely garbage. What I love, Amon-Ra St. Brown, you mentioned him. He could have 0 catches 4 weeks in a row. If they win every game, he is as happy as all can be.
Yeah.
That is a diva selfish. You're going to the next round. You did your job. What are you doing?
What about Barkley though? Barkley's that way. We mentioned about the rookie stuff, and then even yesterday,
he's the opposite. He's the Amon-Ra.
Yeah,
that's perfect. That is what you want to do. That AJ Brown stuff is
what's crazy though. It's like the position, man. It's like so many of these. It's like the wide receivers, these diva wide receivers. You rarely see it from any other position. It's just so. It's pathetic, man. They should have. They should have just. I mean, obviously it's different in the NFL, but if I'm a head coach, I'm sending his ass to the locker room. See you later. Yeah. You're done for the day. Take your.
The problem is Sirianni has that kind of mantra to him too. It's like that.
He's a joke. He's a joke of a coach too.
What was his cut in the book though? Because the book got fully announced, inner excellence, and they had the screen. It was basically everything but putting it up on the screen and talk about AJ Brown, AB, and people were comparing that yesterday. So I don't know. I thought it was wild, but I haven't seen anything like that. I think even who was calling it? Was it Brady calling that game? He's like, I seen a guy on the sideline eating a hot dog before. Sanchez back in the day. But I thought
some of those announcers too. I mean, it was Romo and them talking when Denver, they thought Denver used their last timeout or something when there was only one timeout left. And it was clear as day, no chance they would have used the time. It was just all around. There was
Romo's falling off, man. You remember when he first came in, how good he was. He was the man. He's definitely fallen off a little bit, but that's.
I think it was more it was shock syndrome because of how bad everyone else is. You're like, wow, it's unique, different. It must be good, but then you're like, it's not actually that good, and everybody sucks, so it just doesn't help it. So I think that's more what we've seen happen.
Yeah, but back to the football tonight. Jefferson, Puka, I think Kyron Williams, strong option. Jordan Addison has broken slates multiple times, and he's cheap in the captain. I mean, his flex price is $7,000 in the flex. He is 10.5. A slate where we're lacking some value. I think he makes sense, but it's going to be, kind of going to go back to the same question we always kind of have on the show because it's gotten, it's pretty difficult to kind of analyze these guys, but the guys like Darnold and Stafford, non-running quarterbacks, is this a night for the quarterbacks? Tambo's been the quarterback whisperer. And I just have a feeling that, Jefferson, Puka, Kyron, one of these skill position players is going to go off. And that's kind of what I'm leaning, not playing the quarterbacks. But I'm always interested to get your take on that because I don't know. I'm just, I never have a strong conviction on it.
I'm going to save it because I want to hear a different perspective. I want to hear Title first because he said he feels good about where he's at. And I also just want to get your thoughts, Title. You love looking at this ownership game like I do. I think Hoop mentioned something interesting. And to me, who do you think, Title, gets the steam at – well, for sure, I agree there. But I was going to say outside of Puka and Jefferson, I think what Hoop said, that $600 savings, how good people feel about it. I think Darnold and maybe Williams come up next. Is that the next two?
I think Darnold. I think the Darnold because of the price savings from the Kyrons, Pukas, Jeffersons of the world, and you feel a lot better his projection compared to Stafford and any of them below Kupp, Stafford, Aaron Jones. It feels like Darnold would be the next one. I think it's the steam.
So is this, and then I'll let you go. Now it's levels to the levels here. Your favorite thing, but it makes perfect sense. We know what the first two are, Jefferson and Puka. Probably Puka gets even more steam by the end of the day. Then people move to Darnold because they're thinking Darnold, he spreads it around the most. Addison, Naylor, Hawkinson. I get it. Makes sense. I'm going to make a case for that in a little bit. But then people say, okay, I got to go to Williams on the other side because he's actually the Puka leverage. And then the answer is actually Matt Stafford because it's the opposite steam of Darnold. It does still leverage Puka and it's not on, and it still lets those guys work and fit into those builds. So I actually think quarterback is really interesting today, specifically on a slate like this where we already know, 40% of the ownership at captain is probably locked into Jefferson and Puka for a very good reason. But again, depends on how you're playing. I'm going to feel very good about just playing some of these other dudes and playing for that top.
I think you're for sure right on. The Stafford ownership has to be in check. People hate clicking that name at captain. And I think Kyron stays in check too, because 200 more for Puka, 600 more for Jefferson. Like, people will want to find that. Now, to circle back, for me, I'm making it really clear. It's 6 guys. I'm in lockstep with Hoop. I think it's one of these skill position players. I will let 17, 18% play the quarterbacks. Definitely, I'll let you make the case. You bet money. Could I see it? Yes. Again, I'm playing 50 teams. How do I get an edge up or leg up on these 150 maxers? I want to condense it. I have 6 guys. Puka's number 1. Jefferson's number 2. Addison's number 3. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Kyron Williams. I'm calling it a day. 2 of the best receivers in football. I'm going to eat that chalk. I'm going to have to fade. Like I said, Stafford and Darnold together, we have at like 16%. If they're not in the optimal, that's 16% done. That can help me. People play these bums down below. Hopefully that's 5%. I'm hoping 20% of the field's done. Addison's a very good wide receiver, but how good Justin Jefferson is, why I think he's clearly number 1. All eyes are on him, which is why Naylor, I think, is interesting in flex. Like, his Packers touchdown, his deep post, was Jefferson. Safety takes a step down. Next thing you know, Naylor, Addison, whoever is deep because of Jefferson. So I love Addison at 7K. Hawkinson, we're talking about lack of value. I think going some of these mid-tier guys, again, really my only mid-tier guys, Addison 7K, Hawkinson 5-6, Aaron Jones feels underpriced at 8K, but that helps me at least avoid some of those full bumps down below. And I do want to leave salary on this slate, like, especially when I am playing Jefferson, Puka up top. It is hard. I can play them without their quarterbacks. Like, that's one way I'm going to do it because of pricing, et cetera. But I'm keeping it really tight, those 6 guys. And because I'm doing that, I can really get overweight on all 6 of those guys. So give me the skill position players. It's 4 Vikings. It's 2 Rams. And if it's not one of them, I won't be on the winner.
Yeah, love a few of those calls, actually, a lot of them. So people are listening should be making notes on some of that stuff because some really good takeaways there. But the one for me at the end specifically was the Jefferson and Puka lineups. This is what people always confuse, right? Well, if they're going to be 20%, you need like 30, 40% to get overweight on them. That's one way to do it for sure. Hoop has made a living off of just saying, if the guy's going to be 40%, I'll be 80. And that works and is definitely one way to go. But I love what you said about that part. What if I did 20%? What if I did 18% Puka, underweight technically, but had 0 Stafford in those lineups? I'm way, way different. Again, I wouldn't have to do it in all of them, but it's just an example. This guy can rack up 10, 150, and maybe not even a touchdown and still crush, but probably needs a touchdown. But if he only gets 1, that doesn't necessarily mean anything for Stafford besides he has a touchdown and the yardage that goes with it most likely. So I love that call out and just looking for ways to get different within it. I'm also going to say, Hoop, as I kick it back to you, just thoughts on this. We had this Jacobs back and forth yesterday. The streak, by the way, 4 in a row now. Put the prop bet on the line, the anytime touchdown. I don't know
if you noticed, he was on the winner. I did fade him. I faded on DK. He was cheaper on FanDuel, but I was very underweight on him on FanDuel, and he ended up on my best team. So it's funny how that works sometimes.
Opposite Barkley, had a really good save. It was just whether it's all how it goes, and I think that's kind of what interests me here, because you talked a little bit about the other guys, but like Aaron Jones, underpriced. You just never know. And then we talk about Williams. A lot of people look and say, well, it's hard to run on these Vikings. But if he's out there for every snap,
I'll tell you one guy that didn't have a problem. His name's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. So I think that's what I'm saying is I just don't see. I'm kind of with Title. Like, how does the steam get to them when we kind of know where it's going in other places? I don't know if it will. So I think I'll be more willing to take my stands on guys like that could still get it done. If it's an under type game, what if both these coaches do just want to run it back and forth until they don't, right? Until they get it rolling. But I'm going to have more interest in more Sam Darnold than Stafford. So that was my quarterback case. Someone said in the chat, I'm always out on these quarterbacks. And Philly Phantom, every time I want to fade this, Tambo makes a solid case. Yeah, they're statues, but it just depends on the slate, and it's one game, one night for $1 million up top. I'm going to look for other ways to get different. But I think the Jones, Williams, Kupps, Addisons, Hawkinsons, those guys are where I'm going to look to get different. It'll get me a little bit different construction. I can still leave money on the table with some of the cheaper guys because I can fit some more in based on saving at captain. But anything else you got to add there up at the top spot there, Hoop?
Yeah. Yeah, in the past, you've definitely convinced me to hop on the quarterbacks. I'm not as convinced though today, to be honest with you. Like the Stafford stuff, it just when he has a big game, someone else has a bigger game. It seems like it's been Puka a lot of times, it's been Kyron a lot of times. Like I'm just definitely out on Stafford, and then with Darnold,
it's more this, yeah.
Yeah, double it up. Yeah, I mean that makes sense if you're going to do it. If you're going to do it, definitely play 2 pass catchers. I'd say with him. But I'm just going to bank on it being one of the skill position, not even skill. I'm going to be very narrow today. I'm going to be very condensed up top, and that's how I plan on being a little bit different. Jefferson, Puka, Kyron Williams, Addison. I'm not even sold on Aaron Jones. Like Aaron Jones is the next guy I would potentially add in, but Cam Akers is getting some real work. I mean, he's had 8 touches in back-to-back games, and he was out there in some key spots against the Lions last week. I mean, he kind of was the he had like a 50 or 60-yard run to kind of make it somewhat interesting. So I'm not even fully sold on like Aaron Jones. I mean, the reason I think you play Aaron Jones is the price tag. He's quite a bit cheaper than a lot of the quote-unquote studs on the slate. But yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be a very consolidated captain pool for me tonight. You know, probably a 4 to 6, and I'm kind of leaning just going 4, and then I can get way overweight on those 4.
Yeah, I like that call. Go collect Medjid. In case anyone's wondering, everyone's going to say it was an illness, and he's expected to play, so not one bit worried about him. That could be something. Go ahead. Who's thinking about Kupp over here?
Yeah, I don't think I am, man. It's rough. I mean, it is rough. Could it flip back to him? I don't know. I guess you could maybe make the case, but I just don't think it's gonna. Like, I think he's still very talented. Like, I definitely think he's still talented. I think he can definitely still produce, but Stafford just locks in on dudes. When he has a guy, that's his guy. Look at his whole career with Calvin Johnson. Like, it was just Calvin Johnson. Maybe the wide receiver 2 was good. Maybe it was bad. You wouldn't know because all he did was throw to Calvin Johnson. It's kind of what we're getting with Puka right now. I mean, he's looking to Puka. He's locked in. Puka always gets open. He's not going to go away from it. So I'm not going to be playing him up top. Are you guys?
3 targets in the past 3 games. I hardly want to click it in the flex. Not only all that, I mean, I am, but I might even have less than 10%. Like, I think he's the worst play on the slate. But with all that being said, he's 9.4K, which means in a 1-game slate, he is so overpriced. Relative, like Darnold's right in the range, Kyron, Stafford, Puka, Jefferson. He has to be so super low owned relative to a 1-game slate, million up top. So take it away, Tam. It's definitely game theory.
Yeah, it's tough for sure. I'm not against you on that. It's just more of like I said, in the flex, he's going to make it in there, I think, just because of what you said. So you followed up, and we're kind of thinking exactly what I was thinking. We'll have to see how it actually goes up top. A bit trickier, but I think obviously playing, for me, like less Jefferson, less Puka, I'm going to get someone like him in there. But even then, there's other guys. So I don't know exactly where it'll end up. I'll have it all in the slate plan over at SHIPITNation.com. But early thinking is that I definitely like Darnold, Addison, Jones. I like Stafford, Williams, Puka. And, the Puka and Jefferson are just probably the 2 that I'm a little bit lighter on from the other side. So we'll see. But I don't have too much else to add there. I guess that's kind of the best breakdown we can give for the captain spot. Is there anything else, Title, that you had just on ways to build or any other interesting thoughts on roster construction that you have before we move on to just quarterback as a general position?
I do think Vikings will be more heavy in a really close game. I think like 4-2 Vikings, 3-3 will obviously be popular. No one's really going to be playing 5-1 Ram stuff. Not saying I love that either, but I do think with people wanting to go Darnold over Stafford, Addison, Hawkinson has very solid price tags in that mid-range. Like the Kyron Pukas, excuse me, no one wants to play Kupp. Kyron Pukas is really expensive. People are going to go Puka, but I think Kyron gets squeezed a little bit. And when we get to the value down below, I think Higbee gets maybe a little bit. But again, I really do think 4-2 Vikings will be pretty popular, which I guess you can flip it a little bit and go 4-2 Rams, but I'm only playing 2 Rams up at captain. So I think roster construction, 4-2 Vikings, 3-3 will be the most popular.
And did you have the Jones props? What are the Aaron Jones props right now?
Plus 125 to score. I want to look at his receiving yard.
He's plus 125.
The only one to favor is the score. The only one to favor is Kyron.
That's a bad number. Like
actually,
Yeah, when you know the sites are just when the sports books are robbing you on the touchdown props, and he's plus 125. That's somewhat interesting.
59.5 for Jones on the ground, 21.5 for Cam Akers on the ground to go to Hoops point, and Aaron Jones receiving yards is 20.5. I think for Aaron Jones,
he's got a pretty bad prop.
Yeah, I think he needs to catch some balls out of the backfield. With all that being said, maybe he gets squeezed a bit, and he's leverage off of Jefferson and then Darnold's steam, which I think he gets, which is the reason I'm definitely going to play Aaron Jones. But I agree, like it's a tough play.
He's 12K up top, 8,000 in the flex for 60 yards on the ground and a touch. I don't know, plus 125.
That's 80 yards. Yeah, 80 receiving.
It all, but I was gonna say he's like he's the Josh Jacobs.
Don't do it.
I'm not risking.
I like it.
I don't want to risk the streak.
I'm with you. Aaron Jones is a strong play. I like Aaron Jones a good bit.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Because even then, too, the other thing, and the chat's all over it, like, tell us Addison a captain again. Feels like 17 people have wrote it in there already. I get it. We've seen it. The guy literally has the upside and the capability for sure. But I don't think again, you can get overweight on that, no problem. I think it's great. I'm going to be interested as well. But I don't think it's that sneaky. And I think by the time the game comes around, we sort of see when people realize how much money they need and how much 10-5 Addison does for them up top. It's not going crazy, but it may go to 7 to 10 range instead of the 4 to 7 range or something like that people are thinking he's coming in at. So because we're already getting him, we've got him around 6% in the captain, and it's telling us 4, but I think other people are going to lean this around and they're not going to have this much Darnold and so on and so forth, right?
The main point is it's Jefferson and Puka in terms of the ownership, and then like everyone else that appears playable is going to be somewhere between 5 to 9%, right? They're going to be within 4 percentage points of each other. Like everyone's going to fall in that range. I don't think anyone really comes up and is like 12 or 13%. Everyone's going to be 5 to 10, 6 to 9, somewhere in that range.
Yep, agreed. All right, do you want to talk about quarterback hoop? And I'll bring that up here just on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't love him in the captain, but in the flex, yeah, definitely, like a very stable source of fantasy points. 9K for Stafford, 96 for Darnold. Fine with either in there. Like, I mean, definitely want quarterbacks in the flex tonight. I do personally, but again, probably not going to get there in the captain spot.
Yeah, and I'll just note quick too, guys. We'll mention our first giveaway once we get to 100 likes. So right now, about 88. Make sure you hit the like. If you're just joining us, we appreciate almost 300 watching. Hit that like button. Once we get there, we'll bring up the first giveaway. Title, you mentioned it a little bit already on sort of how you can handle certain captains with quarterback not being in flex with them. But just looking at SHIPIT here, it's basically giving us what we expect the field to be at. It's kind of just matching the field versus not necessarily a captain where you saw Darnold way overweight. Here it's just showing that it's giving us 52 on 50, 39 on 37, little bit of leverage, but not much at all. What's your thoughts on quarterback?
Yeah, I'll probably be underweight Darnold because I'm not playing any at captain, and that Darnold ownership could be like 10. We have him at 10%. I'm definitely going to obviously play both in the flex, but we have Stafford in the flex 37, Darnold 50. I think just naturally I'll have more Stafford to the field, and yeah, maybe I'll be 50% Darnold, which again would be underweight with this captain and flex ownership. I think they're strong, but I'm on Puka, I'm on Jefferson. I like Aaron Jones. I like Addison. Like I want to leave money on the table too. So I just think with my Jefferson Puka teams, I'm fine not playing the quarterbacks, a way to get difference. I don't like them captain. At the end of the day, I always feel better when they're statues because like one rush for 40 yards actually changes stuff. Now they're both solid plays. I'll play them in the flex, but yeah, I'll probably end up underweight Darnold, pretty close to the field Stafford is what I think.
Yeah. And
maybe overweight Stafford. I guess if he's under 50% combined, flex and captain, if I have 50% in the flex, I guess that's a little overweight. So I guess Stafford's my preferred play at quarterback.
Yeah, just going back to hoop before we go to running back, the Hawkinson captain started getting brought up a lot more near the end. I know you were condensing pretty much, but if you were to go a balanced route, would you rather go Addison or Hawkinson? Hawkinson, another $2,000 cheaper, 2,100, but still, would you prefer Addison up top or Hawkinson? Picking between those.
Addison for sure. I do like the Addison stuff, and it's looking like similar ownership, so you're not gaining anything one way or the other. I just think there's just way more upside with Addison in this offense. Hawkinson's going to have to get it done on a lot of catches and probably find the end zone where Addison can get there with the deep plays, 60-yard touchdowns, 50-yard touchdowns, that sort of thing. So I prefer Addison, and it's really not even that close for me.
Okay. All right. We crossed 100 likes. I'm going to break this down for everybody quick. When we win and the community wins, we do like to give back. That's literally our favorite thing to do. We've done a ton of giveaways from the 18 months or so that we've been around. There's been thousands of dollars, easily mid-five figures worth of giveaways, if not more. Members give stuff away. The community's always giving back when they win. We appreciate that. But just want to note it quick. So we wanted to come up with a way that we could share it with everybody. We've got a members-only giveaway. But first, we got to get people in, and then they can get in on both their giveaway and the members-only giveaway. So we came up with this, and here's what it's going to be. We want everybody able to be trying out everything. We know football, Super Bowl is February 9th, so it's less than a month away. So we wanted to come up with something that was monthly focused. Golf is back. We saw winners in the golf streets. We saw MMA shippers over the weekend. We saw NHL shippers over the weekend. We saw NBA and title and a bunch of members close there. So lots of stuff going on across all sports. So we made it very simple. Code SHIP50 allows anybody to get in and get $50 off your first month of all access with Shiptimizer. That takes it down from $99 to $49. So less than $50 gets you all the way through Super Bowl, everything included that way, but gets you all the other sports. It's just the first month only, but then we can upgrade from there, change to whatever sport, anything like that you want. But $49 is the price to get in. And anybody who gets in on code SHIP50 Hoop, what are we giving away? Talk to them. Saturday, we're going to give away.
Yeah, so we're doing the show on Saturday, and we will be giving away a Millie Maker ticket. And it's not going to be the little Millie Maker ticket, not the 20 or 25 that they have out there. It's going to be the big boy Millie Maker ticket, the $555 Millie Maker. So we'll be giving that away on the show on Sunday to anyone that uses the code SHIP50 to become a member here at SHIPIT Nation. So very excited about this one. And like Tambo said, wanted to do something where everybody could be included. And we don't want you to come in and just check out the football. Check out everything that we're offering, including the Shiptimizer at, the cheapest all-in rate in the industry. I mean, this is, an absolute bargain, absolute deal, very, very affordable, friendly pricing, and we want you to try out our community, really.
Yeah, and just to note, so it's $20 less than our all access membership. If you say, but what about golf? I just want to golf. It's $10 less than our PGA only with Optimizer deal, so it's $49 again to check it out. And then same goes for football, $64. You're paying $49, so you legit get everything across the board that's back. You'll have all that included, and then the bonuses for members. Of course, we always got to take care of our own. We're going to give away another $555 ticket. I do all the Discord breakdowns, Hoop, so I changed it up a little on the fly, but trust me, we're good with this.
Yep.
We're going to have a contest with the fantasy points again, but you're going to be picking the top 5. I'll post the instructions and details later in the Discord, but you'll pick the top 5 raw scoring points, and that way, if it was Jefferson's number 1, I just got to look who got Jefferson right. Then it goes 2, 3. If somebody gets all 5 right, and there'll be a tiebreaker so we can split it up. If somebody gets all 5 right or 4 right, it's whoever has the most. If someone only gets 3 right, and that's the most, they win the ticket. But it'll be open to every member, even those that join on with SHIP50. So members will get taken care of, and it's choose your own adventure. You get to pick, and you can win it for yourself. So we're giving away 2 $555 Millie Maker tickets. One of them will be as early as tonight after we have the member-only winner, and then the other will be somebody that gets in on code SHIP50. Anything to add, Hoop, before we keep it rolling here?
So those SHIP50 people get the chance to double dip a little bit. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who takes it down, but the SHIP50 people, they get in that Discord today, got a chance to double dip and get yourselves 2 $555 tickets.
That's the kicker. They got to do it today because the rest of their contest will be all week. So those that don't get in today will go from there. Title, anything you want to add, man? I know in the Discord, the contests are a ton of fun. We got members giving back all the time, things like that. Anything else you've got to add there before we move on?
I mean, I'd say there's literally no better time in DFS than right now to join. College football, there's still 1 game left. Monday, big boy prizes. College football team's been insane. NFL, PGA, NBA, NHL, MMA, and I don't even know. NASCAR might be back pretty soon as well.
Daytona 500 is, I think, February 15th. So they'll sneak the content. You get in today, you'll sneak the content. You'll be able to shift it in there because it'll go up a little bit. Obviously, you need to wait till closer to and all that. So you might just miss it. But I think you're going to want to stick around again, we've talked about the appetizer before the big meal. We've been teasing it a bunch. We can't release anything just yet, but there's definitely going to be some big news on the horizon for everybody, all members, that is. So the time to join was yesterday. I continue to say it, but you're going to realize why soon enough. So
yeah, it's the biggest thing we've done since launching. I'll say that much. We brought on a lot of solid people, built our team exactly how we want it. That's been very important in the growth of our business and our community. But this next thing that's coming up very soon is probably the biggest thing we've done. An absolute game changer, I'll say, and leave it at that.
Definitely going to take.
You forgot to thank someone, by the way. You know who you're supposed to thank today?
Who's that?
Our man Landa. You literally gave him a whole segment too. When you and Landa are lockstep, good things happen. Oh, yeah. He mentioned Eagles and you win $100,000.
That's a good point. Yeah, I forgot about that. Our guy Landa. Yeah, so he posted in there. Yeah, play the Eagles D, and you'll ship because
you're like, I like that. We're lockstep. Yep.
And it's funny because they were. I mean, I did put him in as my highest owned defense. I think. Yeah, when it was all said and done. So yeah, our guy Landa, he was onto it. And he knows.
Who wants to be my Landa out there? There's one guy that always comes in and says Tambo's going to win the Millie today, and then he switched Sundays. Nick's his name, I think, and he always says it. It's like hasn't happened yet, but maybe tonight there is $1 million up top. The Landa lockstep. Shout out to our guy Go Collect. He's been catching on.
We can't forget about the food segment because it's been a hit and a lot of people are loving it. But I did get a ton of comments like, "How are you going to celebrate with a well done steak with blue cheese on top?"
Blue cheese, man. Oh God, we'll have that again at the end. We had somebody actually that tagged us, and he owns a coffee company, Custom Coffee, and he said, "Hoop, I knew you crushed because I ran your core in a bunch of places today, and I won like $750 on $75 in buy-ins." So 10x his money, just like that, quick 750. And he said, I'll send you guys coffee if you want it. And it made me think, I don't think we did a coffee take yet, but we'll save it for the end. So we can start with that.
Coffee. Yeah.
Did we do coffee takes?
No, we didn't do anything in regards to coffee. No.
Save it till the end. Shout out to Will, new member here. Love the product. PGA content is incredible. Yeah, it's a underrated sport, I think, especially in PGA and MMA. People just don't know. Like those two sports, we just have had so much success at outside of the NFL stuff and all that fun along the way, but the members love it. The tools are amazing. And like Title said earlier, it's not just go follow exactly what everybody else is saying as much as you could do that. I do it in the MMA streets sometimes. Close call this weekend too with Title and Marley on the job. But I will say it's just one of those things that just does go overlooked, that everyone just assumes football. But if you're going to play other sports, instead of paying $80 a month or $350 for the year at other places, you can do it all here under one roof with all access and then everything you need to have success with DFS. We've got it all.
Yeah, it's another reason to join. UFC this weekend is probably the best card I've seen since playing DFS. I mean, probably better than, obviously that UFC 300, they put a lot of, stock into, but man, this one is really, really good. Absolute banger. Excited. I know you're going to be there. But it's a sport where you don't even need to know the names of the dudes. Like you just follow the content that Title and Big Marley put out, and you'll have a chance to win. Like I know the top guys for sure, but I do not know 80% of the card. And I've had a ton of success in MMA just following Title and Big Marley. So, that's another reason to get in.
Game theory stuff too, and Marley does the ownership. I know I was talking to Sheets the other day, and Sheets just loves the MMA ownership here. Obviously, very successful player in his own right in the DFS streets, behaves, and he said like the MMA ownership is by far the best. It's actually adjusted and accounted for on the fly and different things like that, where we're always putting in the additional effort, which definitely comes in handy, especially for those out there looking for accurate ownership for whatever reason that might be. So I will say that's definitely something also to talk about. But let's move on. Let's talk about these running backs, Title, and I'm going to go over to you. We already had our Aaron Jones thing. I think we're on the opposite side of Hoopster there. Maybe he doesn't love the props, but we like that call. We talked a little bit about Williams and maybe playing every snap here. Who are some of these backups, like the Ronnie Rivers, Cam Akers off the illness? Any love for anything like that just to get value into your builds?
No, I think Kyren Williams legit might play 100% of snaps. If he breaks off like a 65-yard run and he's completely winded, he might need 1 second, then Rivers gets stuffed for 1 yard, and then he's back out. Like, I'm not playing any of these guys. I truly think Kyron's going to get all the work. Week 17, biggest game, he played 95% of snaps. Blake Corum played 3 snaps. That's how I'm seeing it go today. So just Kyren on that side. and then Aaron Jones, and then Cam Akers. I'll let you guys talk about like CJ Ham. Like he has 12 snaps last week, 14 the week before, 13 the week before. So I don't think he's the worst play at 400, but like we're showing 2%, 3%. I mean, 3% dead, I'm hoping. Like CJ Ham beats me today, but maybe 1.8 is enough if the Jefferson, Puka, Darnold, all them do put up 40 plus. I can't remember what slates. It was maybe a Covey slate, not the one Rio one, but when he had 0, or someone had 0, and it was all the studs and still got to the winner. So it could happen with that, but I'm just going Aaron Jones, my favorites. I think Akers is strong for the price. Kyron, I'm just playing 3 running backs.
Yeah, some people do. I mean, it's been mentioned a couple times now about how much Akers sort of worked into it. Maybe that's where a good segue over to old Hoopster is Akers, because he's been, going against Jones a little bit. And then we'll save the CJ Ham takes for later. We got to get the ham food take, the Hoop hamster over there. Do you like the hams, Hoop? We'll talk about that later as well. Because when you were shitting on Thanksgiving dinner, I know some people also go the route of, let's cook a ham instead of
I prefer a ham. Honey baked ham. Honey baked ham's good with that little, I don't know what the coating is on the outside. Those are solid. Yeah,
it's like pure slime, but it does taste good. I don't know what that
tastes
little
really good.
Yeah, tastes really fantastic. Good. And again, back to my Thanksgiving take is, what's thing about a ham is not necessarily that it's better. It's that it's easier to cook. And that's why more people eat ham throughout the year. Go ahead, though. Akers' revenge game now is getting brought up, too.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. But it's Kyron for sure, as much as I can get at him. I mean, he has a path to play, basically every single snap. Aaron Jones, I think I actually just prefer in the flex. Like, I don't necessarily love him in the captain. I might end up playing him. Like I said, I might play him in the captain. I don't love it, but I would do it just out of necessity because I need probably another cheaper guy up there. So we'll see when I build. It'll all be updated on the site, but definitely fine with him in the flex at $8K. Like, that's a really good price tag for a starting running back. Then Cam Akers is getting legit work. I mean, there was like an illness. He's officially questionable with the illness, but all signs point to him playing. So I expect him to play. And he's looked pretty good to me, like based on the eye test. He had that long run against the Lions. I mean, it was the only bright spot of the Vikings offense the entire game against the Lions. He broke one for like 50 or 60 yards, and I know it's pretty sad. Our guy Danny showed up for a few. Danny Pettiford. He's been pretty quiet lately, based on his team's performance against the Lions. He knows that the end is probably near for his Vikings. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's been quiet lately, though. He showed up today because his team's playing, but lately he hasn't been in.
No matter what happens thing at the start, like when it's going to start going bad.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, though, it's still fun. Like, if you're down and out, that's what you would say. But if you're up, keep the momentum rolling. So that's
different. The lingo has changed a little bit for Danny, that's for sure. But I like some Cam Akers at 44, but I'm not messing with those other dudes. Rivers, Ham, just going to pass on all that stuff. And Kyron, definitely my favorite. Aaron Jones, and then Cam Akers. I mean, Akers is getting legit work. I mean, I wish at 4K though, that's the thing. Like, it's not like a bargain price tag. We always say it, but it remains true. You still gotta do something at 4,400. You got to beat some guys. You got to beat, probably the kickers or some cheap wide receivers. So you still got to show up and put up a score. But he's got 6 carries, 2 catches, 6 carries, 2 catches in the last 2 games. So 8 touches. He's done well with them too. 9 fantasy points, 11 fantasy points. So somewhat interested.
Defenses: Demarcus Robinson, Naylor, Tutu. Yeah, I assume you'll like the kickers more, but like, how does he rank amongst them? That's the question. He's right in that range.
Yeah, that's the problem. I definitely prefer the pass catchers probably over him. I'm going to play him, but again, like, in order for him to be optimal, he's got to beat some of those guys in the range right around him. And there's a lot of guys in the range around him that have some degree of upside, I'll say. So, going to play him for sure. What's his ownership looking like? So we're showing
10%.
10. Yeah, so probably play him around the field, I'd say, at this point.
I think one thing I'll say quick is just, we can move on to wide receivers, plenty we could talk about at each position, but it's all going to be some of the, like, Title's question that makes sense to me in a lineup. Like, if I'm on Puka Nacua, maybe I want to play Naylor in the flex because I'm not on Jefferson and I'm hoping to double leverage. Like I'm saying not Jefferson, Puka, but what could that do to the other side? And others will get to that too naturally. I'm just saying I'm thinking about it. And that's why when people say, oh, it's must be nice, like, Hoop, you have 150 lineups over on FanDuel, and that's why this didn't come through. Or Tambo, I didn't see Brendan Todd in your winning lineup of your MME set, but he was in your core. It's like, are you following one lineup, or are you following what we're talking about and then going and putting it into play? I would look when I'm playing less lineups to think of these situational items on what you're doing. It doesn't mean you can't play acres there because you're not on somebody else. It's more of what makes sense for the game flow. And Title said it best yesterday. Make sure your lineup tells a story. You're specifically doing that in Showdown. Just don't go overboard, because we've talked a ton about it, and Hoop mentions this all the time about ruling yourself out. Sometimes people tell too much of a story, and we were joking earlier about the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Hoop, did you ever read those back in the day?
Yes, where what you choose, you start reading, you choose the path that
Like, if you want this to happen, if you want to if you want to put Aaron Jones at the captain, go to page 67. If you want to
remember those books,
Taylor at the captain, go to this page, and then there's so many ways the story can go, so you can read.
That'd be good for DFS. That's man, you might be onto something there. Where you say, all right, if you want to play Justin Jefferson captain, go down this path, and these are some of the guys you should play in the flex to go along with him. If you choose to go Sam Darnold in the flex, after him, you should look to go to this. Oh, you might be onto something there.
We're trademarking it. The DFS for grand scheme overview, and now we're getting the Choose Your Own Adventure DFS method. We're going to have that up on the site shortly. Get in now, code SHIP50 if you want all that access, but not really going to be any access because it won't exist. But I do think that's kind of what it is about here. When you're looking at less lineups, you can take a lot of what we talk about on these MME shows, as people like to frame them up as, and still apply it to your own portfolio. If you want to get overweight on certain captains in 20 max, if you're playing less lineups and you're thinking about it, well, okay, if I'm starting here and I've committed to this captain, what does that mean for the rest? What's not happening? Or what's that likely to mean for the game script? So on and so forth. So lots of different stuff you can apply in Showdown. Title, I'll kick it over to you to take over wide receiver. You're good at breaking down one team, flipping it over to the other team, and then any other thoughts you have in between.
Yeah, Ram side is actually Viking side. I think is even easier. It's Jefferson, it's Addison, it's Naylor. It's pretty much those three. Brandon Powell might get a couple snaps. Trenton Sherfield might get a couple of snaps. If you're playing 150, sure, they can sprinkle in. I assume most people watching aren't playing 150. I'm not. I think it's $25 today. What is it? $37.50 to max. Little above what I'm going to do. I assume most the same. So I'm not playing Powell and Sherfield. Just playing Naylor, Addison, Jefferson. I like all three. To be honest, at price, I think Addison's my favorite. And the thing is, like, we've seen them both have similar ceilings, and I'm trying to leave money to get a little different. I'm not saying I'm just going to go Jefferson to Addison and call it a day, but I mean, we've seen Addison outscore Jefferson straight up. That could be a difference between a solo milli or a couple-way split and like a 80-way split. So I think Addison might even be my favorite over Jefferson. Obviously love them both. Naylor definitely fine at very moderate ownership, 10%. Ram side, I guess a little more difficult, but not really. The only reason is I am playing a little Tutu Atwell, but he doesn't get many snaps. But he's like Marvin Mims. I don't want to say Dollar Tree Marvin Mims because that's giving Marvin Mims a lot of credit, but he is, when he's in, he can get a designed end around, a deep play. Like one play can do something for him, but it's clearly DeMarcus Robinson, Cooper Kupp, and Puka in 3 receiver sets. And Cooper Kupp's by far my least favorite. Like, his price tag is way up there. I get the ownership. I'm hardly going to have any. Zero captain, hardly have any in the flex. Puka's one of the best plays on the slate. And I'm just forced to play DeMarcus Robinson. But with all that being said, his receiving prop or his reception prop, 1.5 receptions, minus 145 on the over. Like, all Stafford I think is going to do is look at Puka. Puka could have a Nico Collins, a Ladd McConkey day. Like, I really just think it's all him. It's Kyron when they can get it going. Like, we'll get to tight end with Higbee. Higbee, 2.5 receptions, minus 140 on the over. So they're expecting Higbee to be the third receiver pretty much on this team. So, yeah, it's pretty gross outside of Puka, Addison, Jefferson, but I will have to play some DeMarcus, Naylor, Tutu. I'm hardly going to have any Cup, but yeah, it's 7 guys for me right there.
It's giving us no Cup right now, and I looked it up. His prop is 48.5 and plus 160 to score a touchdown. It's insane, and yeah, the Stone shows quite the same. When you look over there, obviously as an option, but it's the projection is way lower and his price is just no different. And you got to just get the money, and you have it, by the way, to go to Puka. So why would anybody ever go to Cup? That's what it really looks like here. One thing, Hoop, I see, and you look at this stuff when you go, it's not like out of hand. I don't think it's not 75% or something. It's 15%, but it is putting like Trent Sherfield, Xavier Smith, Brandon Powell. It is looking to get all these other studs in there. And obviously we know why. It's looking for an expensive captain or a Darnold captain with Puka, Jefferson, one more, and then you can make the rest work. What's your thoughts on the cheap wide receivers?
Yeah, it is interesting with Sherfield, and I definitely, cap that. I mean, I would not want 15% Sherfield on the slate, and I'm going to play 0 Sherfield, so I won't have any. So I would X him out, rerun it, and kind of see what happens. But like you said, though, it's going to want to force in some cheap stuff to get more Jefferson and Puka. In terms of wide receiver, the Vikings, it's very easy. Jefferson, Addison, and Naylor. I actually really like Naylor at 36, probably my favorite cheap guy on the slate. I mean, he's been getting used more in this offense the last couple games. 4 targets, 5 targets. Like, that's not a massive number, but it's like downfield stuff. Darnold will throw it downfield to Naylor. And, if they, for some reason, I don't know, their defensive schemes, the Rams that is, but if they, double team Jefferson or something like that, like it could be a big opportunity for Naylor, and he's looked pretty good. So I actually really like Naylor at 3,600. On the Ram side, a little more difficult. Obviously, we know Puka, but you have Cooper Kupp, clearly the most overpriced guy on the slate. Like 9,400 is where he's typically priced, where he was priced like a year ago when he was like going off. So Cooper Kupp at 94, if you don't force him in, you're not going to get any. I will force him in the flex, just because I'm not playing him in the captain. I know he's going to be pretty low owned and could be lower owned than we're even showing. What number do we have on him? If you can flip over.
You're talking about Kupp, right?
Yeah, Kupp. Yeah,
0.
Kupp.
Or,
what are we showing for his ownership?
Oh, for his ownership, 2021.
Yeah, so it could be high teens. Like I'll bury some lineups if he does nothing today. So I will play him. And again, you're going to have to force him in. If you are playing Stafford captain teams, I think that's probably where he's best deployed. But I'm not playing those teams, and I'll still try to get a little Kupp in there. And then Demarcus Robinson at 42. I'll play him, but cap it. Tutu Atwell, I'll have him in there and likely have to cap it a little bit. And then Jordan Whittington, I don't mind at 2,800. But again, I don't want to be like massively overweight on Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, Whittington. It'd be just more playing those guys to make everything else work. But I definitely would want to cap how much I have. But out of all these guys, one that definitely stands out to me is Naylor at 36. I actually really like him on the slate.
Yeah, it's tough. The Demarcus Robinson stands out here a little bit. He's got a similar price tag to the Akers and Naylor and all of that. And we'll see how it goes. I'm guessing he's still going to get some love, but we've seen him get some end zone and red zone love as well throughout the season, and just looks like a spot. If you were going a bit different, I think he would be fine to fit in. I know the chat's talking a little bit about Whittington. How much were we getting any Demarcus Robinson at all? No, it doesn't look. We were getting a little bit of Whittington because he's cheaper at 2,800, but not much Naylor that we're getting, not much Whittington, some of these other guys. So I think there's definitely opportunity here and options. Before we go to tight end, Todd, just want to mention real quick, you just go to shipitnation.com/join and you'll be there, or you can go to the site and click join the nation. When you go to the all access with optimizer, ours is Shiptimizer, and click the $99 plan, you just enter in code SHIP50 and it will take it down to $49 right away. And then Hoop, we've had discussions on this show before about happy wife, happy life. The wife said, "Oh, you're only breaking even." Ask her about what about when the membership goes $50 off? Because if it's just $49, otherwise, when she's asking you for maybe a new pair of shoes or whatever it might be, say, well, why don't you try the department store when they're giving away shoes for free? Because 50% off, we can't do that. We can't buy any shoes, but when they're giving them away for free, you can have them. Enjoy your hobbies, James. Enjoy your hobbies. Have fun with it. Breaking even is better than most. I know a lot of people are losing, but when you come over to Ship It Nation, we can't guarantee you anything, but we do our best to put you in the position to be able to find success at the most affordable price for the most valuable content. Hoop, any thoughts there? Well, I know we're getting to the food takes later, but the wife takes were popping up a few weeks ago as well here. We were trying to get those.
Yeah, well, yeah, James, obviously, if you're paying the full price, now's a good time to give it a second whirl, because this is about as cheap as it's ever going to get. And then in terms of the wife, I had to have a little pep talk with the title today, because I called him about something pre-show, and he was at the grocery store. He said he was doing some grocery shopping. I was like, Title, man, I know you're a newlywed, but I said you gotta take my advice and start working it in where you don't have to go grocery shopping.
We like it, man. Like, Title wants to help.
I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just that's something I got to do.
You just got to add your shit to the wife's list, and you're good to go.
I do a lot of that because busy and working and stuff. But I will say, in 2025,
I can see why Tambo grocery shops. Right, I totally understand why. I mean, that makes so much sense that Tambo would go to the grocery store. All right, there's like, he has to go to the grocery store. I fully understand that. Like, he's a lost cause. But Title, you're young, just got married. There's still a chance for you.
Yeah, I mean,
you know how controlling I am, Hoop, and how much I want to own the situation.
Exactly. That's why your ass is in the grocery store. I'm
gone every Saturday and Sunday during the football season. Like tonight, I'll be playing poker all night, watching stuff. You got to make some sacrifices, Hoop.
Yeah, that is true. Titles at the tables overnight and shit. It's like
6
casino sleep. I guess I don't have casino sleepovers. So.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have your trade-offs.
Oh man!
One thing I want to say back to this though, I mentioned it really at the top, or you can. Oh, yeah.
No, that's the move for sure. We already talked about it. Like if your wife tries to get you to go grocery shopping, fuck up the order twice, and you'll never have to go again.
So I brought it up pre-show, but this, like you saw with the Sherfields and all this in the world, the stars and like scrubs that very well could get 0 points are still popping because of what it gets you. If you look at our ownership with Hunter Long, Johnny Munn, Sherfield, Brandon Powell, Whittington, Xavier Smith, like these guys together, we have combined like 11% owned, like CJ Hams of the world. I'm just going to fade all of them for sure. Again, I'm only playing 50 teams. And if I fade quarterbacks, like I'm looking at 28% essentially, if I'm correct, obviously. And then I'm not playing Cup and all this stuff, but that is so many, with all that stuff, like that is so many bums getting some ownership. And I do believe like these 150 maxers will have all those guys in the pool, especially on a slate with 1 million to first. If any of those guys do get there, that is how you win a solo million. But circling it back for me, I'm fine with less than 25 dupes today. I love a lineup with that. Like, what do you guys like? 13% just fading all of them sounds really good to me. Tambo, you probably mix it in. Hoop, I feel like you'll probably be on my side and be fading.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm my goal is to act, especially in the playoffs. Like in the playoffs is when teams tighten up even more. So these like random dudes, like their role is, potentially even less than like regular season stuff. So I'm definitely in your side here, on your side here, where I'd probably do the same thing, and I'm just getting rid of all these cheap shitters.
We're going to find out about sides later. Don't forget, another polarizing food, I think at least that we got to bring up later is cabbage. We'll have coffee, cabbage, and we'll keep it rolling, but that's definitely one.
I love the woman trying to help us out. The woman trying to help us out. Thanks, Jenna.
This is true. Some guys Hoop will get doubled down on. They'll be like, oh, I bought the wrong thing. She'll be like, no problem. I'm sending you back again. This time with pictures, don't mess it up. And then it gets an ass, and they still got to go to the store. So that's probably part of it.
So I kind of have a similar, like the only store I'll go to like a couple stores. Like I'll go to Costco because I love Costco. I'll go in there and then, the wife will try to get me to pick up stuff, but she has to send me with specific, if you get this salad, make sure the expiration date is past this or don't get it, like extreme like details on every item. So I thought this one was funny for sure. Sends him with the pictures. So good.
No, I was going to say shout out to Todd. Started his sub on December 17th. 6K profit so far. Again, never something that anybody's going to guarantee. If they are, I would run away and hide, but definitely think that the opportunity is out there. And obviously we've seen a ton of stories where people just hop in, get in the mix quicker than expected. We've also seen a ton of amazing stories where people grinded for 6-7 months and then bang, hit for 50K or something like that's part of the grind as well, right? So I think that's the key. Getting back to it here before we go tight end and our way out to defense, FanDuel, all the stuff, but Darnold up top, which is what Shiptimizer was giving us a ton of. When you get Jefferson, Puka, and just pick a $200 guy, I went with the most popular one that we had, like our builds are looking at, you still have almost 7K left on average. So that is back to the question somebody else said, like Daniels, said here, what does a guy have to do to be in the conversation? Hard to say. It more depends on what those guys do.
It's worked with zero. I mean, it's worked.
Cubby's second slate. It was.
Wasn't it where Rio alerted and then it was like, but he wasn't needed. Oh, but wait, he was. He did nothing, but he still was needed. So I was like, the news was still important because it would have got us to the optimal. So yeah, that's the setup of it all. But I definitely think it's at least somewhat interesting to look at. And then if you flip it around, it's not like you're out of money, right? You can still do this and just flip it, and you still have 65.50. It's not like it goes that crazy. So look at this is why the $200 guys are going to pop. And Title, if you can find good versions, you can do it a couple ways. You can go different versions of this where you don't have Jefferson or Puka up top. You could play them up top without the quarterback and drop down and just look for some PPR heavy stuff. Or when you're just moving these guys out completely, you can just look for some more balanced builds. But I think you brought up some good points there that sort of lean into that. So I'll kick it back to you. Anything you want to add there? If not, you can go to tight end.
Yeah, well, that's even when I'm fading all those really cheapies, and even when I'm playing Jefferson, Puka, that is why I mentioned I can fade Darnold when I am playing Jefferson, and then in that team drop down to Addison or Hawkinson, and then I leave a lot more money there than I have to play kickers or defenses or more mid-tier stuff. The Nailers, the Robinsons, a little Tutu, and we're getting the tight end right here. This is where I guess I am playing some of the bums. I'm playing Higbee. I think Higbee's strong at 3K. I really do like Hawk, but I am playing a little Josh Oliver and Parkinson. Those are the cheapest I'm going to go. Oliver 1.6K, Parkinson 1.2K. The reason for that, though, Parkinson's still getting snaps, 40% of snaps, 33%, even since Higbee's been back. So I want a guy that's going to be on the field at least a little bit. Going over to Josh Oliver, 46% of snaps, 54%. He kind of reminds me the Cade Stover, who I kind of regret not bringing up. I think if it was a showdown slate, we definitely would have been. But a guy that's on the field a lot, he's just the eighth option. But when everything else isn't there, Sam Darnold can drop it down to Josh Oliver. I think he half a catch, minus 215 on the over. Is that good at all? No. But it's at least expecting that he has one catch. And I just want to round it out. Lil Jordan Humphrey should have been plus 1 million to get a catch because he is terrible. But yeah, it's 4 tight ends. And that is where I'm going to go for the cheapest value is Oliver and Parkinson.
Yeah, based on their performance, they should have got his ass out there. I mean, who is it? Our Vele guy could not catch the ball. I'll tell you what, you throw those passes to freaking Lil Jordan. I mean, that is a lock to be a catch. Well,
there was a couple hospital balls in that game too. Vele almost got killed, and then Ray Davis because of Josh Allen. Which man, it is so hard to play defense. I get that, but it was shoulder. I get the flag, but that's on the quarterback. It is.
Even that guy took the L. He said, it's on me, but what do you want me to do also? Yeah. What he's saying at the same time. Dude dove for the thing. It was thrown ahead of him, and I went shoulder, and then it turned into head. It's that's when it's unfortunate. Tough. It's just ugly.
Those are the impossible plays. I mean, those are just impossible.
That's contact sport, football. That's what you're going to get. So, to Hoop, anything to add at tight end?
Yeah, kind of the same page. Definitely, Hawk. The thing with Higbee, he's the one cheap guy that's projecting pretty well, so he has a chance to get kind of steamed up a little bit. But definitely fine with it. Hawkinson, Oliver, and then maybe a little Parkinson. So kind of pretty much agree with what Title said.
I'll just add the one part to each of you. One for you is the Higbee part's definitely going to be correct. This man has almost he's got 60% of the cup props out there for numbers. So people are going to see that and be interested. He's 3K. We already see him at, projected somewhere around 20%. I think that could be right. Maybe it's a little more, but I think that's about right. So we'll see with that. And I like the Oliver call quite a bit. I always play him. He's out there. If you look at the Tutu Atwells or the other guys in his range, Naylor, all those guys, he's out there kind of the same or more, but it's just whether or not he does anything. And you mentioned it's tough with a prop like that, but at least he's a guy that you could see catch a touchdown or something where then it's not a $200 zero that you need to make it. It's a little bit more money. You're spending $1,400 more to pay 16 in the flex, but Josh Oliver could be a guy who gets 2 catches and a touchdown. It's just possible in a game like this. So definitely think that's an interesting way to look at it there. Anything on defense, Title, or people are just off these defenses and kickers now. Sorry, both of them, but just thoughts in general.
Yeah, no, how do I not play it if I'm Xing out every single guy down below? And especially, the kickers I definitely like a good bit. I'm talking all this Addison, Hawkinson, Aaron Jones stuff, but at the end of the day, if Josh Carty outscores or Will Reichert outscores Aaron Jones or Addison or stuff like that, 3K, that is how you win a solo milli or at least a little more dupes. Like, I'm going to be looking at stuff like that. And then the defenses right in the same range as the kickers. And then there's also the Akers, Robinsons, Nailers. All of them will eat into their ownership a little bit. We've seen the Texans defense. I hope we don't see a performance like that because you'd probably need him at captain. But I'm just forced to play a pretty held in check defenses. They always have a chance at points. I mean, we saw the Lions get after Darnold a good bit. Maybe the Rams can do that. One random play, two statue quarterbacks maybe can get some sacks. But I just have to play the kickers and defenses.
Yeah, I was going to say one thing for sure. I don't think either of these teams are going to have a problem getting into scoring range. It's the playoffs, though, and we've seen this plenty of times where then they make mistakes. Washington got away with one there last night, but had a couple instances where they should have had more and didn't get it and just made bad decisions. We talked about the coaches overthinking things and making mistakes. These defenses do step up, right? It's their time to shine. It's one and done. So I definitely think there's an opportunity here. And the kickers, as much as we talked about all these other value auctions and things like that, that would fit these balance builds quite a bit. And even in those builds we saw when there's almost $7,000 left, well, that's because of a $200 player. Bump out the $200 player, get some kicker action in there. Maybe you could find your way. Defenses, I know, are a little tougher to get behind, but Hoop, your thoughts at kicker and defense?
Yeah, I mean, fine with them. I mean, I'll do the same thing I typically do. I'll play whatever I need at defense to make it work. Probably will be below the field at both, but I probably will end up playing more than I typically do just because I'm going to need it on the slate. Kickers, yeah, for sure interested. Indoors, 5K, 4,800. They make a lot work, so I am interested in the kickers, and probably be a little overweight on the kickers, a little underweight on the defenses.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add? If not, Hoop, what do you think for FanDuel?
Yeah, there's not much on FanDuel. I mean, Jefferson is the most expensive at 15.5, Puka 15K, Darnold 14. I guess the first pricing thing that kind of stands out would be Matthew Stafford at 12.5, pretty cheap for a quarterback where they have a little bit of an advantage on FanDuel. Kyron Williams 14.5, so a little bit cheaper than the wide receivers. Addison 10K, Cooper Kupp 11K, so it's going to be the same situation there where probably comes in pretty low owned because of that price tag and the low projection. And then you have all the cheap value plays. I mean, it's pretty similar, honestly, between the two sites. Not much to add on.
Yeah, one thing about just a couple comments there, and then I'll kick it over to Title for any final thoughts. If you guys want to start throwing your food takes in, now's the time to do it. We'll stick around for those at the end, starting with coffee and cabbage, the double C's. But the thing is, if you go to this, like I know we do zeros more in, the relief pitcher stuff and things like that when we do NBA and certain things, but in Showdown specifically. But in this, you don't necessarily want to free up the max. Like you don't want to have it so that it maxes out. That's kind of the worst ones, because when everyone's like, if they decide on this $200 guy and then they go, oh, it gets me everything I want, everybody else found that. So even though you'll say, but the 200 guy is only 3% owned. Well, if it's out of 100,000 lineups, there's 3,000 lineups. And then on top of it, a bunch of them are using the max salary like that in a similar way. So you're actually backing yourself into the exact corner that everyone's backing themselves into. So you're unique. What you feel like is unique is not actually even close to unique and can actually hurt you in that case. And then I thought this was interesting to our guy, Philly Phantom. If he doesn't have any title in his 150 set, he'll just say, let me run 20 uniques in the 20 max and just lock in Cup. And I guess you'll be okay that he would have won you the milli, because obviously that's the whole point. You have none over there where it would pay off the most. But any thoughts on that, running like a 170 and use 20 uniques on something like that odd captain that nobody's really on?
Yeah, just put it in the dime contest. You're burning 20 dimes instead of $20 or $60 or something.
Yeah, Philly Phantom's loaded. He got all the money. He can afford it. It's okay. He's probably doing it in the $3.20 max, so we'll see. Hoop, any?
I just hate Cup, but I've done stuff like that in the past where a less buy-in, but I mean I just hate Cup today. That price is but it makes some sense.
Yeah, you can bet the props and do like your Jacobs thing for like when I talked Jacobs yesterday, he actually ended up being good in DFS, but we were saying like it could just be a touchdown or something. If you like Cup, you could see a night tonight where he breaks his yardage prop of 48.5, but then it's definitely not needed at almost 10K in the flex or something. So that would be another one as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Hoop. You're eyeing things up already. What are you thinking about?
I was just thinking about some of the food. Do you want to get it started? Coffee?
Coffee? How do you drink coffee? Because here's what we're gonna do. Hoop, do you like coffee hot or iced coffee? Well, the thing about coffee, I don't even drink it. I think it's disgusting. Let's hear Hoop though. What do we got on coffee?
I never drank coffee until I started working full time after college, and then I was like, all right, I need something to get going. So I'll typically do 1 cup of coffee in the morning with a little bit of creamer. So pretty standard stuff. I just, I'm not like one of those hardos. It's like, oh, I need the black bold coffee or anything like that. It's just regular cup of coffee with some creamer, 1 in the morning, and then that's it. So nothing crazy there. Hot. Yeah, hot. But in the summer, if I go to Starbucks or something like that, I'll get an iced coffee thing. So
what about you, Tyler? What's your coffee situation over there?
Iced vanilla latte if I have it. I don't drink too much coffee though. Maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. But I like it. I like iced vanilla latte. Protein. There's a Dutch Bros. Any of those Dutch Bros? I got a protein vanilla latte. I do like that a lot.
That'd be nice. I'd be interested in that. I'm an iced coffee guy for sure. And usually if it's Starbucks, it's a sugar-free iced vanilla latte. Exact same drink. I hate
Starbucks coffee. What do you guys think? Is it burnt? Do you guys like their coffee?
I'm not that interested. We usually if we go around here, there's actually a place right across the street that because the road is so screwed up, everyone thought like this Starbucks would just shut down the mom and pop shop, but it actually, people are so pissed off with how the road is, like screw this, support the mom and pop shop. So it's busier now than it was before because of the Starbucks traffic and people just going there, and they make it better anyway.
I'm not a huge Starbucks fan, but my kids are into now the mango dragon fruit shit, so they always want it as like a treat. So then I get roped into getting myself a coffee. But I'm with you. I don't think it's anything special. The prices are insane. I mean, the price tags on the coffees are crazy. Like, how do people afford to like get Starbucks like multiple times a day or throughout the week or something? It's insane. You got to make good money to buy Starbucks.
It used to be like yesterday.
Yeah.
It used to be a marketing thing, right? Where people would say, just give up one Starbucks coffee and you can afford this. It's like, I might just give up my heating bill because it might be cheaper.
It's got to be similar if someone's like a smoker, right? Like a pack of cigarettes versus like a Starbucks coffee has got to be pretty similar in terms of what it costs you.
Okay, what about cabbage? In or out on cabbage?
Fuck no, man. That's gross. Cabbage? Ugh.
Corned beef and cabbage. That's the only
corned beef, right? That's the main time for cabbage.
Coleslaw uses cabbage, right?
Does it? Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. Definitely no. Like, I love lettuce. Like, I like salads. I'll eat salads at least 2 to 3 times a week. Like, definitely like salads. I'm gonna get a salad tomorrow for sure. But definitely no to the cabbage. Fuck no.
Pickles on pizza?
I've never even heard of that. That's a definite no. Like, that is a definite. Do people do that? Is that a thing?
On specialty pizzas. Here's one that I would throw your way. It's a pizza they make. It's called like a dill pickle pizza, and they put bacon, ham, mozzarella cheese. So you're getting a little bit of, not mozzarella, marble cheese. So you get a little bit of both worlds. And then you get fine chopped pickles on it. Would you eat
like that? Everything besides the pickles? But I honestly, like, if it was an option, I would try it. Like, I'm not fully against that. Like, I think it's a little weird.
Do you like pickles by themselves though?
I'll eat pickles. Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not going to not eat a pickle. Like, it's not like, okay, I'm craving a pickle or something like that. If I order a sandwich and there's like a pickle on the side, I'll most likely eat the pickle.
What about deep fried pickles?
Yeah, I like those. Yeah, I've had those before. Those are good. Those
dip in a mayo sauce or something.
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, that used to be like a thing at B-dubs, right?
Still is Frickles. Fried pickles are everywhere.
Yeah.
Frickles, fried pickles, man. That's amazing.
Way too unhealthy for Title, for sure. Title definitely.
Stop it. I have that.
You're the healthiest eater.
Do you guys have do you have bread and butter pickles? Did you ever have that before? Like dill pickles are the most common. Do you like bread and butter pickles?
Don't love them, but I've had them, yeah.
No.
Never had it.
No good. Terrible. Don't try them. This is good. Mayo on a sandwich, or are you going straight dry buns?
I prefer Miracle Whip on a sandwich. Okay. Miracle Whip on a sandwich for sure.
How does this work, Nick? You want to go to dinner with Hoop?
Let's go, buddy. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, the big thing is not picking the restaurant because I can find something I want at the restaurant. The main thing would be you get to order the food for me, right? You're going to order a bloody steak or something. So that would be the true giveaway. Restaurant, dinner with Hoop, which, I think there'd probably be better options than a dinner with me. But The main thing would be you get to order the food for me.
All right. What's your ice cream?
Okay. I do love ice cream. I think Title said he likes ice cream too. I am a big ice cream guy. So like if I just go to a standard, quality ice cream place, I would get like a twist cone, so vanilla and chocolate with sprinkles. I love that. I love just the basic chocolate mix twist. They call it a twist with sprinkles. Love that. But I'll do like any sort of ice cream. I like the kids like cookie dough, so a lot of times I get a cookie dough flurry or something like that. Butterfingers. I'm a big ice cream guy, so like basically anything ice cream I'm good with. Actually, my kids just got me onto something as well, cotton candy ice cream. If you haven't had it, try it. It is so good.
The kids do love that, and the kids love sprinkles. I'm not a big sprinkles.
I love sprinkles.
Like the rainbow sprinkles and shit. I don't like that, but
I like it. What about your Title?
Title, what about you?
Give me all the chocolate. Reese's, Oreo, cookie dough. And again, handles. If you're at Tambo, you're 1 week away from getting to Arizona. You have to have handles if you do get out.
Oh, I'm dying to get into handles, man. Please. A lot more money, but I'll buy for everyone. Let's go to handles.
Handles is the best.
What was I going to say?
You, Tambo?
I was just going to say, my one that I was wondering if you guys have, because I think it's a Dairy Queen thing, but did you ever have a strawberry cheesequake blizzard? It's a strawberry cheese.
Good, though.
Pieces of cheesecake that are like chunked into a strawberry ice cream that's like swirled up with vanilla, and it's delicious. Strawberry cheesequake.
So you're more fruity than chocolate, Tambo?
I'm not a sweets guy very much at all, actually, period. But if I was picking an ice cream, it would not be chocolate or chocolate cake. Nothing like that. I'm not a big chocolate guy. I like Twix bars, though. I do like Twix bars.
Good. Here's ice cream for you. You guys ever had Dole Whip? It's like a healthier, low-calorie version of ice cream. Something right up your alley, Title. You should give it a whirl. It's called Dole Whip. It's
Dole Whip, okay.
Yeah, look it up. It's good. Very good.
Bars is what I've been having. And I got a Ninja Creamy that's still in the box. I do have to whip that thing out to get it.
I got it too. Title.
Dude, use it?
How many months has it been in the box?
Oh, 4 months, 5 months. I got it from... Okay. Yeah, I got it. Wow.
What is it?
Mine's like 3.5 months in the box, for real.
What's it called?
It's called a Ninja Creamy. It makes homemade ice cream healthy. Like you put some milk, protein. You can get like 45, 50 grams of protein in the ice cream. I got to get it out there.
You can meal prep them at the start of the week. You have them ready. Yeah. The first batch apparently takes like 12 hours. And if you want to talk about procrastination winning, it's like the best marketed item ever. So everyone buys them. And then like, oh man, 12 hours to whip up a batch? No thanks. And back to Thanksgiving. That's why. It's damn good. You don't want to spend 12 hours making up ice cream, even if it is healthy ice cream. So it's a pain in the ass.
I'm not on a salad schedule. I meant to say on average, I eat like 3 salads a week for lunch usually. So that just to clarify that, I don't have a set schedule, but I already have in my head that I'm going to get one tomorrow. So that's all I was saying. What
about this one? Cake or pie?
Oh, I'm not really a fan of either. I don't love cake. I guess I would go with pie. But I guess it would depend on what sort of pie, but I'm not a huge cake fan. Like I like sweets, but not necessarily cake.
Yeah.
Me
and
too.
On that, Title?
No, I'm with Hoop. I'm not a big cake cupcake. Like those stored normal cupcakes are gross. Yeah. Chocolate, it'd have to be a solid chocolate cake or something. But
I don't know I'm not down with too many white sauces, but real quick, what about a fried chicken sandwich from whatever place of your choice? Pickle or no pickle? That's always a big discussion. That's another one.
No pickle for me.
See, I'll put a pickle on it, I think. So I'm with the pickle side there.
What did y'all have at the wedding? No cake? I don't think I had one. I didn't have any dessert, I don't think, at my wedding, looking back at it. Hoop, what did you do for your Tambo?
We did cake.
I think we did. It was cake,
I believe. Cake, no face throwing or touching cake on people's faces or you want. End it right there. Divorce right after a marriage happens. That ain't happening. People can't mess around. No thanks.
Yeah, I agree.
Chicken or waffle? Chicken and waffles is a solid combo, but the waffles or pancakes first, and then it was chicken and waffles. Do you like that? I love chicken and waffles.
Pancakes for sure. I like pancakes over waffles, but I'm good with both. I don't eat breakfast though. I don't know if that's like a hot take. I never eat breakfast. Like occasionally, like I'll have a bowl of cereal or something, maybe like once a week, but I'd never eat breakfast. But I prefer pancakes over waffles, and I definitely do not like chicken and waffles. No.
We're getting close to the end here. We're getting white sauce, grandma's cream pie, and burger secret sauce. I mean, we are, well past that. Come on now. Chocolate panda ice cream slaps, chocolate panda paws. Wow. Vanilla bean, salted caramel. What else do we got? Anything else here? On roast. I think we got them all.
Yep.
Fries or potatoes?
Fries.
Yeah, fries.
I've heard though that fries, like if you get them, that's one of the worst things you ever can put in your body from anywhere is like fries.
Yeah, go get a hot dog and fries.
Yeah, ever since I've heard that, I'm really trying.
Yeah,
they say it's as bad as it gets. I don't know.
Yeah.
But they upcharge you to substitute a salad now. You're like, oh, I'll get the garden salad. Like, yeah, it'll be $1.50 more. Yeah, can't just be healthy anymore. You got to go the whole way.
Do this to finish. Favorite fast food place? There's a lot.
Favorite fast food, definitely like Chick-fil-A, but it's got to be Taco Bell for me. I love Taco Bell.
Oh,
really? Well, I mean, it makes sense. So I told you guys, my favorite meal is Mexican.
Gotta be,
so
yeah, that's fair.
So what's wrong with Taco Bell?
Is that even Mexican though?
Yeah, but favorite fast food, definitely. Culver's is good. That's a very good option, Culver's. But
Culver's
I'd say Taco Bell for me. I love Taco Bell.
You would love this Mexican joint by my place, Taco Boys.
Yeah. Wow, what is your guys' favorite fast food?
Culver's or Chick-fil-A?
Culver's is legit. Yeah, that's very good. Chipotle, does that count? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that would count.
That'd be up there for sure.
That's definitely.
You like Taco Bell or Chipotle then?
I don't like Taco Bell at all.
For sure. I mean, Chipotle. I mean, I'm talking. I don't consider Culver's and Chipotle. That's a step above fast food. I'm talking
Culver's. You're going through a drive-through though.
All right, you got to pick one of the grimy places. It's got to be McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, Hardee's, Arby's, something like that. You got to pick a low level. I'm not talking about Chipotle and Culver's. That's a step above fast food.
That's
one of the original places. Where are you going?
Okay. I would go to Wendy's. I like Wendy's.
Wendy's. Okay, yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you can do there. I'll substitute the fries because of what title said for the chili. You get the chili instead.
Chili. Yeah. What are you picking? You got to pick one of the original play. You can't be one of the,
I guess I would say McDonald's maybe.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fair.
It's LSU Jefferson. Definitely not a Vikings jersey, Danny. Had to get Jefferson, couldn't get Vikings.
Everyone hating on Taco Bell is crazy to me. No, I've never heard anyone complain about Taco Bell. That's kind of surprising, to be honest.
I gotta be blacked out to have Taco Bell.
Really?
Fine.
Forget that you ate it the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
I love Taco Bell.
If you guys want to continue the conversation, I'm sure people will be blasting Hoop now about what we call them, the well-done steaks with blue cheese. Now it's going to be Taco Bell takes, all that more. But if you do want to get in, we mentioned off the top, giving away a $555 Millie ticket to somebody who gets in using code SHIP50. And then, of course, we'll have you covered for the members tonight. I'll get the contest details out shortly. Everyone can be ready to go, have plenty of time to get it in. Make sure it's in before lock for tonight's game. We're going to give away another $555 ticket as well to the members. So gonna be a good one. We appreciate you guys as always going through, breaking it all down. That's gonna do it for this one. For Hoop, for Title, and for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.